filmed this once before. I lost footage again, so we're going to do it one more time.
Don't lose it.
Stop it! No! Don't shut the computer. Apparently, if you shut a Mac...
It's too late for that.
Yeah. Okay, Scott. Easy, Scott. What is the effect of having 6-year quarterbacks into next year's quarterback draft list?
Yeah.
We are setting up now with, several different 6-year quarterbacks, which never has happened before because of the pandemic year. What do you think that effect on the quarterback draft class is going to be for next year? Honestly, I'm just going to put my initial take on this is that this will be one of the best quarterback draft classes you'll see in the next 5 to 10 years.
It's possible. I mean, I don't know. The interesting thing is the developmental process is probably a little bit further along. At the same time, they've become accustomed to playing at the NCAA level for so long that I don't know what the transition is going to be like. Whereas, let's say, for example, Trevor Lawrence, who hops into the NFL at 21 or whatever, by the time he's 25, he's going to be peaking, and these guys are just entering the league. So it's going to be interesting. The other interesting wild card, and I'll put it back to you, Dirk, is for arguably the best prospect, Caleb Williams. He might not be coming out.
Well, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be let's see who gets the number 1 overall pick. I still think it's going to be the Bears. They're going to have the number 1 overall pick. And that's going to be thanks to Carolina just being that bad, right?
Right.
So we'll see how that turns out. But my issue has always been when you draft a quarterback at the age of 21 or even 22 is that they go by way of Sam Darnold, where they haven't matured enough to really take that adversity and have all of that leadership, money, and everything else that's thrown at them to really develop into something that is a long-lasting and successful career.
Right.
I think what you've seen out of C.J. Stroud is the anomaly, not the rule, right? It's not the exception. So I think having older quarterbacks that are coming out of the NFL that have more mature, more time to develop will lead to more success. And that's, I guess, going to be putting my theory to the test here and why I think it's going to be such a good draft class.
It's possible. The twofold counter argument though is, as I mentioned, the ones who make that leap early, if it's your Mahomes, if it's your Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, whoever, if they've made that leap at 21, they're going to be damn good by 25 or 26.
Well, and you also get more out of them.
Exactly.
Potentially you're looking at a 17, 18, maybe even 20-year career potentially, depending if they go by way of Aaron Rodgers and, Brady. Which would be amazing, right? That's great. However, the problem is you're going to miss a lot. You're missing a lot.
And also they come in with more wear and tear. I mean, Michael Penix is going to be entering, the NFL with a bunch of injuries coming in and at an older age. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Personally, I'm not 100% sold on the two Pac-12 quarterbacks in Penix and Bo Nix. As far as their NFL prospects, I think I could go either way.
Yeah.
I think I've seen too many guys come out of programs like Oregon where it was just blowing up the college numbers. But you look at Bo Nix's stats at Auburn, and they're he's a younger quarterback.
But I think that having that extra years to develop actually made Bo Nix a much better quarterback. I mean,
also
his success or his completion rate was insane. It was 75 plus last game.
It was, but so was Mariota's at Oregon too.
Yeah,
but he wasn't quite.
That's
an
fair.
NFL.
I mean, Mariota is one of those that I think was a pretty big bust. I thought he would be much better, but then you have Herbert, where people were really down on Herbert, saying he wasn't going to be that great, and look at what he's turned into. Now, I think that's all centered around just the Chargers underperforming.
Right.
I don't think that's really on Herbert. I just think that you're going to see Bo Nix be a better prospect than what people are giving him credit for. Now,
it's entirely possible.
Caleb Williams, you've talked about it before. I don't think he's a sure bet either. I think Michael Penix has a chance to be pretty darn good.
I've liked what I've seen out of him. Yeah. Going back to Herbert and Nix, I just see Herbert as a guy who has a bigger skill set and more capabilities. Herbert can throw the ball like Josh Allen. He can throw it 80 yards. I don't know if Bo Nix can do that, So I think there are certain things physically that Herbert can do that set him apart. But I think, to your point on this, Dirk, I think you may be onto something, that quarterbacks coming in as rookies are going to be more developmentally mature and might have a higher basement. I don't know that they have a higher ceiling. Because
I agree with that, and that's what's going to set up for when this has one of the best quarterback draft classes. If you're one of those really late round first round picks, or even if you can sneak one of these guys in the second round and take a chance on it without really having to give up that first overall or top 10 pick, why not? I think that's a great idea this year. I think you have the top two that are going to go this year in terms of my QBs that I think people are not because I think that they're ranked this way, but I think what you'll see is Caleb Williams will go the first quarterback that's going to be taken, and then Drake May is probably going to be that second quarterback that's taken. Probably, I think Drake May is the mistake there. I think you can't necessarily go wrong with Caleb Williams, but Drake May just doesn't have the same intangibles that I see from others like Josh Allen coming out with just an absolute cannon of an arm, or you have Herbert who was extremely intelligent, or even Patrick Mahomes that just had the swagger, the background, all of these intangibles that you just. I just don't see it out of Drake May, and I think he's an overhyped quarterback. I really do.
Yeah, the track record of Trubisky and Howell coming out of UNC would have to give some.
Hey, Howell's slinging around.
I mean, Howell's not bad. I'm not
for
going
the dumpster fire that team is. Yeah. He's not doing too bad.
No. He's not a bad quarterback. I just don't know that he's a star, and I just don't know that I would see blowing a top 3 pick on Drake May. But maybe, I don't know. I think the way that I look at it, though, and what we're talking about is with guys like Penix or like Nix or something like that, these guys who've been in college football for a long time, what a team might try to do that's a good team and is pretty stacked is they might try and do the Brock Purdy approach, which is to build the rest of the team around, take one of these guys in a later round and see if he's good enough to sort of game manage his way to a good season.
Yep.
Yeah.